Yeah, you just kind of tailor it to whoever you specifically have on.
Yeah. And especially trying to find out their stories within sports, right? If you're an athlete and you're coming to the end of your career, um, what is the relationship you have with your sport, right? And
Mm,
what is the relationship you've had with your sport throughout the time? And then what's your relationship with this unknown, uncertain time in front of you that's called business?
mm.
And then the relationship with sports can then translate to the relationship with business. We've just got to transfer it, and getting them to see that as a mindset shift, that they're not actually two different worlds. It's
Yeah,
the same world because it's you that's creating it. And you're going to take this mindset and put it into business. Here's the tools that work. Here's the tools that don't work so well. Here's the tools that need to be adjusted.
yeah. And I think when you're speaking about relationships, specifically like whatever position they played, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that probably has a big role in how you convey the message to them.
100%. Yep.
Yeah. Like I know specifically, I played hockey. I played defense, left defense, because my stick was on the left hand side, so it was close to the boards. Football, played left guard, left tackle, any position on the offensive line I've played before. Played defensive line. So you probably wouldn't make a bunch of cornerback analogies to a guy like me.
No,
Yeah.
no, not really. But there is a lot of analogies within the world of defending
Yeah.
and business, right? You are going to um, you're going to carve out a sector of the market that's yours. Well, how are you going to protect and defend that sector of the market?
Mm.
Well, one of the best ways to defend it is creating a niche that only you do, right? And only you do well. Well, that's in your interest. So what's the whole side about the stick being on the left side? What advantages did that give you? There's tons of stuff that you could go there. Yeah, there's tons of ways you could take that.
Yeah, like perfecting a move, like a
Mm-hmm.
specific move if you're a basketball player or a football
Yeah.
player if you're like, rushing the quarterback, what's your move that you use on the offensive lineman, things like that. Okay. Yeah. I like it cuz I played sports. I was a multi-sport athlete growing up, so I love that, that's your mindset and that's how you coach these people up, especially in
Yeah.
business. Now, I'm transitioning from being an athlete to being a businessman, being an entrepreneur to an extent. So I like
Yeah.
this sort of
And
topic.
there's a really cool thing that we can that I talk to these athletes about, because
Yeah.
when they're in sport, it's very much about winning.
Yeah.
Losing is not an acceptable piece of sports. It's got to be winning, winning, winning. It's got to
Yep.
be winning. Well, if we transition that into business, you'll actually burn out really quick and you won't
Mm.
learn any lessons. The lessons in business comes actually from losing. So you want to fail and lose fast, right? Fail fast is the way forward in business. And so can we transition the winning mindset, keep that, but can we add to that the acceptance of losing and failure is a part of the business process? Because now
Yeah.
I've actually got to embrace that. The idea of winning against a competition, I'm going to compete against competition. Well,
Yeah.
in the world of business, we want to compete with competition. We want to actually co-create, and so there's some slight shifts in how we're going to look at sport and business. But if we can teach athletes to look differently at the way they approach things, athletes are brilliant business people because they're self-starters. They just keep going. They persevere. When they come against an obstacle, they know that they can go over, under, round. Right. This
Yeah.
is the water analogy. Once
Yeah.
water is flowing, not a lot gets in its way. Right. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
stop.
Absolutely. And I like your quote, compete with the competition, because I learned in one of my classes in college that if a company doesn't have any good competitors, good people keeping them on their toes, they're never going to innovate. Like
Mhm.
Apple. If Apple didn't have Samsung right behind them all the time, they wouldn't need a reason to innovate. They wouldn't need a
Mhm.
reason to come up with new software, new hardware, new features on their phones and things like that. So it's always good to see it as competing with the competition, because the competition fuels you, drives you, and also inspires you in some ways